So we've all heard the advice, right? Limit yourselves to a group of 10 in order to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. But as we go through and we try to think about this, is this really effective? Now, some of you will go, well, yeah, limiting interactions will all be effective, but I get that particular argument, but let's say, we have more than 10 friends, right? And so maybe one night you go out with these other 9 people, one of you is infected, right? And then the next night, each of those 10 people hang out with a different set of 10 people. Does that really slow the spread of the coronavirus or, Voldemort in order to avoid YouTube censorship? Although, I'll probably get censored because I already named it. But does this advice really make sense? Or is this advice going off and trying to give us a sense that we do have something that we can do to control the virus, and control the spread of the pandemic? Now, if you have a social circle of less than 10 people, then maybe yes. This could be effective for you and your family. But if you're, limiting yourself to groups of 10, but every day it's kind of a different, 9 other people, or different 8 other people, or how often you hang out with different people in your social circle. And then you're hanging out for married couples, the husband goes out, stays, in a group of 10 or under. Wife goes out, hangs out with another different group of 10 and under. You come home, one of you's infected, you infect each other, you go out, and then, you infect your 2 different groups. They go home to their spouses, spread the infection and they go out. I mean, is it really effective when we think about it, when we analyze it, versus doing complete and total, quarantine for the 15 days, where everyone just stays home. Nobody goes out unless they need to for only essentials, like going out and getting toilet paper, basic hygiene and groceries. Beyond that, everybody stays home for 15 days. Wouldn't that be more effective during this time, than the whole, groups of, 10 or under? Now, I get it. As we go through, we talk about the cost to the economy to do a complete and total shutdown and the damages it will do to business. And we talk about, the stimulus package that, is currently being proposed with massive government spending that is going to have long-term economic consequences. And it's because of the lack of data that we have, that is driving this whole, what is the most effective way? Shut down everything for 15 days, clear out the virus, from everybody, let it die out, and then try and quickly pick back up. Or, do nothing, let it spread, and let the chips fall where they may, or take these half measures. And is taking half measures actually prolonging the virus, actually prolonging the impact? And are these half measures actually leading to having to make bad policy decisions, such as the stimulus bill being proposed? Now, the one thing, though, is that, while there are personalities out there like those on the Hill, who I don't know if they're complete frauds or complete morons, or both. But they're trying to go off and claim that the stimulus bill, shows that there's a death to conservatism, a death to economic conservatives or libertarians, right? And no, that is not actually the case. We understand, that, from a libertarian standpoint, that there is a need for, coming together for the social good and social benefit. We just don't believe in the government having to have control over every aspect of our lives. Okay. All right. Which means, during national crisis, yes, government step in, for what they need. During normal times, government needs to be small and stay out of our lives. All right. But beyond that, how effective is the advice versus everyone shouting, do something, do something. And so they're just giving you something to do, to make you feel better, to make you feel like there's something that is more in control versus whether or not it's actually effective and whether or not there's anything short of a complete and total quarantine and lockdown that would be effective, right? And if we did a complete quarantine and lockdown, isn't the fact that, the doctors, going out and getting affected, or the emergency service going out? I mean, how is the whole limiting to 10 people really spreading or really stopping the spread of, the crisis that is going on? And I guess the answer to that is really more dependent upon the size of your social circle and how often, when you're going out in groups of 10 or less, how often those are with different people in that group, right? So, I mean, if you're going out and saying, hey, I'm going to go out, this is going to be a group of less than 10, you go out, hang out with some people in the morning, because a lot of people are finding they now have a lot of time on their hands. And then in the afternoon, they go out with a different group of 10 or less people. Did you really solve anything? This is like, why people are going out and buying toilet paper in masses, or going out with surging gun sales at this particular time. People are panicking. We don't have a whole lot of information, knowledge, or data about how to handle the situation. And so we're just going out and doing stuff just to feel like we're, doing something, but we're not actually asking ourselves, how effective is it? And so I really don't have the solution towards how to handle this, particular, virus, and what is the least worst option between completely closing down the economy for 15 days and whether or not this bailout, is a good idea or a bad idea. The good idea or bad idea of the bailout depends on whether or not our elected leaders get their act together to undo the damage it's going to cause, which I have little faith. But from what I'm gathering and from what I'm seeing, based on sizes of social circles, this whole gather and no more than 10 people seems to be more about giving you a sense of control and the sense of, being able to, take this step to protect yourself, and less about whether or not it's actually going to be effective. That is just my personal thoughts and observation. This is an opinion show, so I give you my opinion. So I want to hear what you have to say down below. Is the groups of 10 or less really about creating an effective measure, or is it about giving you the illusion of control? I'll be awaiting your responses.